just told her, leave the party.
So Stephen A. Smith just cornered Democratic strategist James Carville about telling Ilhan Omar to leave the party, and it's exposing massive fractures in Democratic strategy. We're seeing rare, unfiltered political analysis from someone who usually sticks to sports commentary. This gets intense fast.
I mean, you know, I want to know where that came from, and when you speak with this level of frustration, can you enlighten us about what exactly it is that you're talking about and what got you so ticked off when it came to something like that?
This direct questioning style is exactly what political interviews need more of. Instead of letting Carville deflect with generalities, he's demanding specifics about internal Democratic conflicts. Most hosts would have moved on after that explosive Omar comment, but he's digging deeper.
Without white people, because you can't.
Carville's absolutely right about the electoral math. In 2020, Biden won 87% of black voters, but only got 41% of white voters and still barely won. You mathematically cannot win national elections without significant white voter support, especially in swing states.
But James Carville, what about those who will push back on you and say, okay, he's a Republican, he happens to be the president of the United States, and you certainly were recently going off on him. You went the hell off on him a hell of a lot harder than you went off on Representative Omar. Now I'm saying he has white people.
This perfectly captures the Democratic strategic contradiction. They criticize Trump for appealing to white voters while simultaneously needing those same voters to win. It's highlighting how anti-Trump messaging can become counterproductive to actual electoral success.
James Carville, do you believe, considering the animus, the disgust that the president evokes from so many people, do you believe there is such a thing on the left as Trump derangement syndrome, which is what the right accuses people of? Do you believe that exists?
Trump derangement syndrome is real, and it distorts democratic decision-making. When every Trump action triggers maximum outrage, it becomes impossible to prioritize actual threats or craft measured responses. The constant crisis mode actually helps Trump by normalizing chaos.
You want to get worse, James?
I don't think that I try to conjure up more distaste for him than I have when I wake up in the morning. It's really hard to do. But this is a condition that I'm not trying to get rid of.
Why not?
Make my disease worse.
Why not? Why, James? Why do you want to make the disease worse? Trump derangement syndrome. Why do you want to make that worse?
Exactly right about not wanting to escalate. Productive political discourse requires distinguishing between legitimate criticism and rage-driven reactions. When everything becomes a five-alarm fire, voters tune out and real issues get lost in the emotional noise.
How do you feel about people who say the same thing about the left because of some of the stuff that we were seeing with woke culture, cancel culture, identity politics, etc.? What about that?
This is brilliant analytical consistency. Cancel culture and identity politics can create the same irrational groupthink on the left that Trump devotion creates on the right. Applying the same derangement syndrome framework to both sides reveals how tribalism distorts judgment everywhere.
But that's your party, though. That's your party.
No, it's not. It was 15% of the Democratic Party.
Well, that's what I mean. That's all I mean. That's all I mean by that. Meaning it was on the left.
This accountability demand is crucial. Political strategists love deflecting party problems by pointing at the other side. But effective leadership requires owning your coalition's failures. You can't fix what you won't acknowledge belongs to you.
Let me transition to Trump's decision to bomb Iran in concert with Israel. What are your thoughts about that decision? How are you feeling about it?
The Iran situation has evolved significantly since this conversation. With the current ceasefire holding but tensions still high, these strategic questions about bombing coordination with Israel remain critically relevant for understanding Middle East policy.
What about the argument that it can make China now checkmate because first, you know what we did with Maduro in Venezuela, and now we got Iran, so no more cheap oil for Russia. You might have to, or China rather, you might have to deal with us. What about that notion?
This oil strategy thinking is sophisticated geopolitics. Controlling energy supply chains gives America leverage over China's economic growth and Russia's revenue streams. It's economic warfare through resource manipulation rather than direct military confrontation.
So moving forward, looking at the Democratic Party,
Right.
feeling how you're feeling about what transpired last night in Texas.
Right.
From a national perspective, I've been making the case there's no definitive leader. Yeah, there's a lot of qualified candidates, people that know politics, that would do a good job if they were in the presidency, but somebody that actually resonate with the masses out there and could beat a Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance in 2028. That's not what I'm seeing from the Democratic Party.
This leadership vacuum analysis is spot on. Democrats have plenty of policy experts and experienced politicians, but charismatic leaders who can energize mass audiences are extremely rare. Technical competence doesn't translate to electoral magnetism.
What are you seeing?
That simple follow-up question cuts through political spin perfectly. Instead of accepting Carville's assessment, he's demanding concrete evidence. This kind of persistent questioning forces honest evaluation rather than allowing comfortable generalizations.